Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Tonight, we're going to have a lot of fun because I'm going to show you how to use our new Shaker Tags die set to make a shaker tag. And that shaker tag can be part of a card project, and that's what I'm going to do with my shaker tag, but you could use this just as a tag if you want. Now, if you don't have our shaker tags, that's totally fine because you can use any tag die that you have along with some sort of smaller die that will cut a shape out inside that tag. So let's say you bought a bag of tags somewhere and you wanted to make shaker tags. All you would need is a smaller rectangle, oval, circle, or square die that you can cut a hole into that tag to create a shaker element. So I'm going to show you how to use our shaker tags to do this, but if you have other dies in your collection, you can also do that as well. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, everybody. Happy craft or day, night, evening, morning, wherever you're joining us from.
They're joining us from all around the world, so I think you caught it.
Yes, yes.
I have the hiccups. Can you believe it?
All right, press on.
These are the perils of going live and having hiccups, but you know, it's all right. I need to be scared or I need to hold my breath or something. It'll be fine. I'll just work through it. All right.
You could always. I'll get some fruit salad if you like.
Oh, well, yeah, I would definitely like that. I don't think it'll help the hiccups, but we could have fun trying anyway.
It's possible.
Oh, goodness. All right, everybody. Well, I am going to first show you a few cards that I made with the Shaker Tags die set. And I used our brand new Vintage Holiday to make these. So let's take a look. So here are 3 that I made, and I showed this in our release party, but this is one that I made where I actually used the tag element as the focal image. I mean, why not do that? We use ovals, we use circles, we use rectangles. Why not use a tag as a focal image element? And that's what I did on this card. And by turning it into a shaker, you can see all the shaker bits in there, it gives it a little bit more interest. So then I also made a regular tag, and this one, you can see the difference in the sizes of the openings in these tags, right? I'm going to show you how I achieved this look in tonight. I will show you that. But with this one, all I did was create my shaker box, and then I put an additional tag on the back to make it look pretty. I cut a third tag, and that allows me to put a little bit of money in here or even a small gift card. I do believe gift cards will fit in there, but if not, definitely some cash will. Okay, and then I also use that same shaker tag set to make this card, but I didn't use the tag. I just used the larger box to cut this opening. So there's quite a few different ways that you can use this set. Now, I'm not going to make these cards or any of these cards tonight. These were for a class that I did for SCT Magazine. It was for their holiday event, and they got all the supplies in their kit to make this, including the stamp set, the 2 die sets, and all of the card stock to make all of these. So I can't really show these to you since they were, you know, exclusive for that class, but I can show you how I made the tag, and we can change it up a little bit tonight. Now, my very first tip is going to be all about acetate. So acetate, when you're making a shaker card, I don't know what kind of acetate you guys use. Some people use packaging from products that they have. Like if you ordered a pair of scissors and it had a lot of plastic in the front or something like that, embossing folders, you can use the packaging for that. But the biggest problem that people have with their acetate is static. So I'm going to tell you the easiest way to remove static. No, you don't have to use the anti-static tool for this. What you want to do is you just want to take your acetate and you want to wash it with hand soap. Hand soap, something that is made for the hands because it's got a little emollient in it. And that is going to take away the static. And let me just show you this real quick here. I washed these 2 pieces of acetate, and you can see I'm going to just pour some sequins on there and see how they fall right off. They don't stick at all. So that's the way you get rid of the static. It's super easy. Just wash the piece of acetate with soap and water. Now, before we go any further, I do have to do a shout out. Okay, so Tom, you have to help me with this one because we have a guy that we work with. He is so awesome. His name is Benji Lumpkin, and he works for a company called Priority One. And Priority One is who we work with for all our freight needs. So when we are bringing in containers from China, it's Benji that helps us get those containers from China here into the US. When we ship an order to Simon Says Stamp or scrapbook.com and it's several pallets, Benji is the one who helps us get those pallets to where they need to be. So I promised Benji that I would do a shout out because I adore him so much. And I just wanted to say, I know a lot of you out there own your own businesses. They might be completely different industries. But if you ever need a great freight guy, and for my friends that are in the industry that might be watching tonight, here's his email address. It's benji.lumpkin@priority1.com. And I think Benji didn't think that I would do this, but Benji, I'm doing it. Everybody say hi to Benji in the comments because I told him to watch early in the live tonight. So Benji, thank you for always making sure that our products arrive safe and sound. And I can tell you that all of our customers and all of our friends in the comments who have purchased things are very glad that we had your help to get everything where it needs to be safe and sound. So thank you, Benji. Okay, now back to, that almost felt a little bit like a commercial, but it wasn't because he's a friend of mine and I just wanted to give him a shout out. He's getting a lot of love. Thank you guys so much. Okay. So what I was thinking that we could do tonight is I'm going to show you the die set first. Here is the die set right here. Now I put mine on a magnet. It's kind of big for this magnet, but you can overlap dies on these Stampin' Storage magnets and they won't fall off. So sometimes we do that when the die set is just a little bit too big. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a tag, and I think my colors tonight, I want to go with like sea glass and tranquil teal. I want this to be a really, really peaceful kind of card tonight. So I have sea glass and tranquil teal. You guys are all so nice. I'm sure he's blushing sitting at home or sitting at work. He's probably still working because he works nonstop. And of course, everywhere he's shipping from is open when we're closed and we're all asleep. So I'm sure he's appreciating all the love. Okay, now one thing that I wanted to say is I saw a couple people sharing that they got their Intercut die cutting machine and they're opening it up this way and they're leaving it open without pushing it in. Make sure you push these plates in. They do come out here. You can see they come out for flipping it up, but then you want to push both the front and the back in because that is going to make it stable. It's going to make these, you can see it better in the back here. See how that just pops in? Okay. So I'm using my Intercut die cutting machine, and I am going to start by cutting. I think I'm going to do a tranquil teal tag. Maybe I'll do one of each and we can decide together. But I'm going to cut this tag. So I've got it on my cutting mat and I have it blade side down here. And then I'm going to just put my platform on top. You can do that. You can flip it over if you prefer, but it doesn't really matter as long as you're cutting into the cutting mat. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this out. See, one-handed cutting. I like to do that because it's so cool. Okay, and let's get this tag out of here. All right. Now, I should have cut something else out with this, and I'm going to do it now. You see there's these two little bits in this die set. I'm going to cut this little ring out, and then this I'm going to cut out with sea glass because I want to layer this up together, and this is going to create this effect right here. So you can see here I did the little, I want to call it a jump ring. It's not a jump ring, but this little ring here, I want to do it in the same color as my tag, and then I'll have the coordinating color in the larger part up here. So let me cut that out. I should have done them together, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. It'll just take an extra second. Okay. All righty. So there we go. And you can see, let me get my pick and stick tool. It'll be easier for me to get this off. And Benji and I were talking on the phone the other day, and he's like, I think his boss didn't think that we would give him a shout out. So it makes it even more fun that maybe his boss will have to buy donuts or something tomorrow. That'd be nice, right? Okay, so now I am going to take a piece of sea glass here. I'm going to flip my plate over. I like to flip it over each time I use it. I didn't flip it over for the little ring, but I don't think that was too much surface space. And now I'm going to cut out this little part here. This machine, Carla, is our brand new intra-cut die cutting machine. Now, it did sell out, but we've got a huge reorder that they're making now. And it's a great machine. It only needs 2 plates. Well, there are other plates. I say it only needs 2 plates. It only needs 2 plates for just about everything that you're going to do. But if you have some of the old Sizzix thick dies, then you will need this additional plate. That's this one right here, the steel ruled plate. It does come with the machine. And there's a dial on the side that all you have to do is dial whether you want die cutting, 2D embossing, or 3D embossing. So that makes it super easy. You don't have to worry about shims either because there's a second dial down here where you can dial in tighter or looser. So it's pretty cool. And it also comes with a beautiful die set, a huge die set. Okay, so now what we're going to do with this tag is we are going to cut a hole out of this tag. We're going to cut our shaker window. Now, there are 2 different windows here. This one is a little big for the tag. I made this die on purpose a little bit big so that if you just wanted to make a plain old shaker card, this little window is pretty small for a shaker card. This one, you really need something bigger. So I had the space on the die set to make this big die so that you could have a bigger cutout for just using it for shaker cards. So I'm not going to be using this one for this card, but I am going to be using this small one. Now, I do want my window to be bigger than this, though. So here's my second little tip I'm going to show you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place this die so that it looks even around all 3 sides. Okay. Now let me get something that's over here. Let me grab it. Had to walk across the room. I'm going to be using some Masking Magic. Now, Masking Magic, for those of you that are new here, Masking Magic is a very low tack masking paper that will not tear your paper even when you send it through a die cutting machine. It comes in both sheets and strips, and the strips come in 3 different sizes: 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/8 of an inch. This is a 1/2 inch, and I am going to just tear this. It's easy to tear. And you can leave them stuck to your die cutting machine so they're always available, because what happens to me is I get it all lined up And then I realized I don't have any tape close by. So it is kind of nice to have some of those pieces just kind of stuck to your machine so you can just reach up and grab them like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to move this over here. I didn't like where it was positioned, so I'm going to reposition it because it doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, I want it to at least be a little better than horrible. And somebody pointed out to me in one of my videos that they were new and they didn't know a lot of the things that I was talking about. So I'm going to try to make it a point to explain a little bit about what I'm doing, but I'm not going to be able to explain everything. But I am going to let you guys know if I have a video that explains everything. So I am going to do a little foiling tonight. It's going to be really quick. So I will explain what I'm doing, but if you want more extensive foiling videos to learn more about the Gina K foiling system and how it all works, I've got videos on my channel. I have a whole playlist of videos. I did share that playlist with that person, but you know, it was a good thought because it's true. I mean, we're always getting new viewers and we love new viewers, just like we love our repeat offenders. So we really appreciate you being here. Okay, so now I cut that out and you can see I could use this for something else. I'll put it aside. Okay. Do all the plates needed come with the intercut? Yes, they do, except one thing. The only thing that doesn't come with the intercut is the silicone mat. But you don't need the silicone mat for cutting. The silicone mat is when you want to do something like emboss instead of cutting with your dies, or if you want to emboss with your stencils. I just tore my nail. Then you would need the silicone mat. But if you know, it's not necessary to grab it up front. Get used to the machine first, and you can always pick that up as an add-on later. Maybe sometime when you have an order and you just need to bump it up to get the free incentive set, that's a good thing to add. Okay, so now I want this to be bigger. I want that opening to be bigger. So what I'm going to do is I am going to find the spot here. You're able to feel, if you press down on it, you're going to be able to feel where the die is inside that other box. And I'm sliding it up. So it's actually still inside that other box. I'm going to slide it up to wherever I want it. And I think I'll do it. Let's see here. How high up do I want to go? Maybe I'll go right about here. Maybe I'll go a little higher. I'll go a little higher. Okay, so there we go. It's still inside. I can feel the blade inside along this edge down here and on this side down here. And now I am going to tape that down. And then I'm going to cut it again. So you see what I did? I just slid it up there. And now we're going to cut that out, finish it off.
Question.
Yes, Tom.
What is a good starting point for the pressure dial?
So I would always start at the center. And if, you know, most of your dies that coordinate with your stamps that just do the perimeter, they'll cut out just fine right in the center. It's when you start to get more intricate, like you have dies like these trees that have all those little die cuts, that's when you're going to want to dial it up. So I always start in the center with a die. And you know what you could do then is you could take a little Post-it note and just put down what setting worked for that die set and then slip it into with the magnet into your die set or into the package, however you store your dies. And that is a great way to always remember. But, you know, it takes just a second to dial it up. So if it's not tight enough, you can certainly do that. Okay. The dialing it down, I've never dialed it down for dies, but I have dialed it down for embossing folders that were a little thick. All right, so here we go. I'm going to pop that out. See that? It's perfect. Let me put it up against something white. It's perfect. And that's because I went right up that edge and I just slid it up. So now you can use this technique. I'm just going to get rid of any little phrase in there where the two dies met. I just used a little bit of sandpaper here. This is for colored pencils, really, and for blending stumps, but you can also use a nail file for that, so you don't need to run out and get something special. Okay, so I've got that, and we are ready to start the shaker card now. So,
question.
Yes.
Did you say you can use the glimmer and letterpress plates with this machine?
Yes, you can. You definitely can. All right, so I'm going to just put this machine away for a second, and we're going to talk a little bit about foiling. So I have my Fuse foiling system. Now the Fuse is, for those that are new to foiling, this is a laminator, but it's designed for foiling, which means that it gets hotter than your average laminator, and it gets, definitely gets hotter than an average laminator faster. I haven't really taken a temperature of it to see, but I can tell you that I've had other laminators, and you've got to let them heat up a good half hour to get them as hot as the Fuse gets in about 3 minutes. So the Fuse is it's similar to the Mink. It is made for laminator style foiling. Now, there's 2 different kinds of foiling that you can do. You can do hot foiling that's done with what somebody was asking about, the glimmer machine. That's where you actually heat up a plate, and that's called hot press foiling. So when you do that, it's similar to like business cards that you've seen, where it kind of puts a little impression and the foil almost looks like it's pressed in a little bit. This is different. This is done with either toner sheets or Poly-Glaze sheets. So Poly-Glaze sheets are these sheets right here. I'm going to be using this design. This is called Flurries. So when you see the sheet, I'm going to take one of the sheets out here. It's very, very hard to see the design. It's got a light gray color, and then it's coated with a Poly-Glaze material. And when you put foil on top of this and run it through the laminator, the Poly-Glaze melts, and the foil adheres to that melted Poly-Glaze. Then when it comes out the other side and you give it a minute to cool, everywhere that there's Poly-Glaze, which is this design right here, on here, is going to grab the foil, and the rest you don't need. You can use that for other techniques. And I'm not going to go into the other techniques tonight, but I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel that shows you so many techniques. And there's all kinds of beautiful designs. You can see some of them have a lot of design like these, and some of them have a very small design like this Flurries pattern. The reason I'm using the Flurries is because I want this to be behind my shaker piece right here, okay? And so I want that to just have a little bit of shimmer. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, yes, if you, I think Jennifer McGuire did a video on the glimmer, and also Nancy McCabe from the Foiling Snobs Club did a very extensive video on using the glimmer with the new die cutting machine. But I don't do that kind of foiling, so I don't have a video to show you for that. You'll have to go to those pros and watch their videos. Now, here's the foil that I'm going to be using. This is called Fancy Foil, and this is a heat reactive toner and Poly-Glaze reactive style of foil. It's different than hot foil. Although, see, I hate that it's called hot foil versus this kind of foil. This is actually called textile foil. And hot foil is made for hot pressing, hot plates that press. Textile foil is made to adhere to adhesives and things like Poly-Glaze and toner sheets. So I'm going to use a Swiffer duster, and I'm going to dust over the surface because you don't want any dust to get in between your foil and your Poly-Glaze or your toner sheet. The difference between Poly-Glaze and toner sheets are Poly-Glaze is a special material that foil will stick to. Toner sheets are black printed paper that is printed with a laser printer, and it's printed with black toner. Poly-Glaze doesn't have any black, so if there's any spots that are missed, you really don't see them. With toner sheets, sometimes you can see this a little bit of missing here and there because of the black color. But if you've got a really good foiling system like the Fuse or the Mink, it really minimizes any of that. And I've had great results because you guys have seen me use toner sheets. Okay, now I am going to also dust the back of the foil because we don't want anything to get between our Poly-Glaze and our foil. And then I'm going to put this onto my Poly-Glaze sheet foil side up. I'm going to pop it here into my carrier sheet. And this is the carrier sheet that comes with the fuse. If you don't have this carrier sheet, you can also buy the carrier sheets from ThermoWeb. They look more like parchment paper, but they're different than parchment paper because they're lined with silicone, which carries more heat. All right, we're going to send this through. Always send it through folded side first. If you send it through the opposite way, all of these loose parts can get trapped around the rollers, and then you've got a mess on your hands. So folded side in, you'll feel the rollers grab it, and then you can let go and let it go through the machine. Now, I think I'm going to actually do 2 sheets of Poly-Glaze. I'm going to use the same one because I want this to be a very subtle design. So I'm going to do 2 of these. One is going to be for the outside and one is going to be for behind my tag. This is one of my favorite patterns. So next time you guys are looking for Poly-Glaze or toner sheets, for those of you that love foiling, pick up this Flurries. It's little stars and little dots. It can be used for anything, birthdays, anytime you want just a little sparkle. And I love this one. We do have one coming soon. I'll just give you a little hint. It's got a similar feel, but with little hearts. So I'm very excited about that too. Okay, so this came out the other side. I'm going to just put this aside, and then we're going to do a second sheet of the same design. So let me get another sheet of, this is our sterling color. We've got so many colors of foil, lots of colors to choose from. And then ThermoWeb has lots of colors, and lots of my friends who also sell foil have lots of colors as well. So there's lots of things out there that you can use. But I really like ThermoWeb's foil because I find it to be super durable. I haven't tried many, but I love ThermoWeb. So that's my little recommendation. Although I know that there's other great brands out there. I haven't tried a lot of them. So I'm recommending ThermoWeb. Okay, now I'm going to peel this, and you can see now, you can see here all the little stars left behind, right? There's another technique that you can do this with, use this for with white Poly-Glaze sheets or black toner sheets. That you'll have to tune into a different video on my playlist for, but look at that beautiful, oh, it's hard to see. I think you can see it a little bit there. But you see that? Complete coverage. Yet it's so delicate. That's what I love. It's so delicate. Okay. So now we've got a second one here. We're going to let that cool. I'm going to turn off my machine and get it out of the way because we're not going to be doing any more foiling. But I just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle and shine in here. It's going to be so pretty. Yeah, it's seriously, I agree, Nicole. It's one of the best Poly-Glaze patterns. It really is. My fave. Absolutely my fave. I love a lot of them. And I did a video. I did this video. This is a card I have to send out. And I used 3 of the different patterns of Poly-Glaze in there. But I used them to resist ink instead of foiling them, and they resist ink too, which is super cool. So you can imagine if you did this in an ink blend fade, it would look like snow falling because you can see what's left behind looks very bright and white. But lots of great foiling videos on my channel, so check them out. All right, we've got one more to peel here, and it looks great too. So we've got those. And I'm going to save my negative pieces for another video at another time. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut one of these out, and we're going to cut it a little bit smaller than, well, a little bit bigger than this opening, a little smaller than the tag. So let's measure what our opening is. I'm using my Tim Holtz ruler here. So I'm going to cut this to about 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, so 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to get my little paper cutter. let's see here. So I am going to cut the edge off first. I have to cut the edge off because these designs don't go all the way to the edge. Okay. There we go. All right. So 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. I think I'm going to do it this way because then I could get 2 of them out of here. So that's what I said, right? 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. Measure twice, cut once, measure twice, right? Yeah, that'll work. Ooh, do I need all that? Yep, I do. Okay, so 3 1/4 and then 2 1/4. Boy, it doesn't feel big enough, but it's going to be. Okay. So here we go. Now that's going to go behind there. And that's going to give me my design.
Quick question.
Yes.
Okay, please ask about the beautiful items that come with the fuse. Amazing amethyst and Poly-Glaze happy swirls. When they'll be in stock, or will they be in stock? I'm not sure if she means separately or.
So those were exclusive to the fuse, the purchase of a fuse. So they won't be coming in, but we are going to be doing some similar designs in the future. But those particular ones will not be coming in stock. We are actually, I think I'm going to divert people more to the introduction to the fuse to see everything that comes with it. I think it's just going to be easier that way. There is a video on my channel called Introduction to the Fuse Foiling System. But yes, we've got beautiful foils that you get with it. We are going to be bringing in that purple foil though. So I'm cutting this down to the same size as this opening, 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. This is my acetate. It is almost impossible to see on camera, but I think I cut it down right. Boy, I hope so. Yeah. So we're going to pop that onto there. Okay. Yes, and that fuse does come with 3 different Poly-Glaze sheets and 2 packs of foil, including our sterling and 14 karat, and also an amethyst pack because it was a limited edition amethyst fuse, which is the purple color, and it has amethyst, and it also has wild lilac in there. So very pretty colors. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit of Connect glue, and I am going to just put a little Connect glue right around the rim here. I don't want to get too close to the edge, but I still have to get close enough that my little piece of acetate is going to cover it. Okay, now here's another little trick. When you're putting your acetate down, put it down onto the glue, and then when you rub the glue, rub away from the acetate. See how I'm rubbing toward the cardstock that way? Rub away. Don't rub toward the acetate because it'll bleed through and you're going to end up getting it on the front of your shaker, and you don't want to do that.
So Gina,
now we have a window.
Pardon me.
Yes.
We should jump in and just explain a lot of questions about when things are coming in stock and when, whether we have them in stock and when things will ship. And again, it's hard to answer those kinds of questions, right?
It is very hard for us to answer those kinds of questions because we just don't have the answers. And I can tell you that the fuse machines are shipping. They're supposed to be shipping by the end of the week, but they might be at sea for 45 days. They might be at sea for 20 days. They might be at sea for 60 days. It's really hard to tell. Part of that is when they get to the port, how many ships, cargo ships are in front of them that have to be unloaded, and it is the holiday season. So we are thinking sometime in January, the fuses will be back in stock, and we are thinking for the die cutting machines after that. It does take a long time to manufacture these machines. So that's about as much information as I can give. So I hope that helps. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put a little shaker material back in here. Now we could stamp something in there if we wanted, like a greeting. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a greeting behind there because my goal was to put something like, I have this, but I'm going to cut it in a different color. One of these trees in the front to make it very modern feeling. But I think we need to have the greeting back in here. Now, you can't really stamp on the Poly-Glaze. I mean, you can, but it's not going to stick to where the foil is, and it wouldn't stick to where the Poly-Glaze is. So let's see if this will peek through. So if I do this greeting here, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, see that? That's going to fit in there. Do I have a die for that? I don't. So let me see what else I can use. Let's look at, well, first I want to look at this set, but I think it might be too big. And it is our big, this set's going to be way too big. Although we could just put the greeting right on the outside of the tag, and that would be pretty too. Let's see. Maybe we'll do that and put a tree in there and have the, maybe. I don't know. I don't want it to block too much. Maybe we'll do this one. This is from Feeling Frosty. And I think that we could get that Christmas greeting in there. Merry Christmas. I think that that would work. Or we could put that right on the outside. Yeah, let's do this one. We're going to do Merry Christmas, but I think we're going to put it on the outside. We could also do what we did here if you like this idea. Do you guys like this idea? To have a flag like this? We could do that. The only thing is I don't have much going on inside here. So it would be kind of plain. And what if we did the tree on the inside? How would that look? Oh, that would be really cute, wouldn't it? That would be really cute. But we're actually going to put this on the outside, and then we'll shaker stuff all around on the inside, and we'll add a Christmas flag up top. Okay, that's our plan. All right. And you guys know I never plan anything on my lives except a technique. If I'm going to do a technique, I tell you, yeah, we're going to do a technique tonight. That is the extent of my planning. You know, I have to be brave. Okay, so we're going to attach this part to the flag or to the tag now. Tags, flags, everything rhymes. Okay, so I am going to use my Connect glue once again for this. And I'm going to start with this little piece right here. So I'm going to use my reverse tweezers for this, and I'm going to put Connect glue all over here. All right. And then we're going to line that up right there like that. Then we're going to add this little ring. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to do a little bit of Connect glue. Now, if you miss a tiny spot, like where my tweezers are, that's totally fine. You don't have to worry about that. Now we're going to put that right over there and press it down. Okay. So that looks pretty good. I like that combination. Tags, flags, and automobiles. Yes, that was a movie, Vicki. You're right. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to put some foam around the outside of this. And I'm going to be using these shaker strips. These are very easy to use because they are super thin. But if you don't have shaker strips, you don't have to worry. You don't have to use shaker strips. You can use foam tape. You're just going to have to cut it a little bit thin. So that's what I've got going here. So I'm going to use these. This just makes it very easy. And these are available at ThermoWeb. They're also available in our store, but I think we sold out of them over Black Friday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rest this. I do have to get my head in the way. I'm sorry. I'm going to just rest this right along here like that. And then I'm going to use some scissors and I'm going to chop it off right up here. Actually, I'm going to chop it a little bit further down because it'll go over the side there.
What's the name of the set that tree is in?
Decorative Trees. It was actually a freebie and it's available now. Tom, do you want to just peek on the website? I think they're called Decorative Trees, Decorative Tree Dies. There's 3 of them in there. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side, starting at the bottom, but in a little bit. You don't want to like go over the edge. Okay. Tom's checking. I can hear the computer clacking. Okay. So I'm going to trim this down here. See if that's enough where you can't see it on the other side. I think I'll go a little bit lower. I'm just slipping my scissors under there and snip. There we go. Now, the thing about a shaker card is you want to make sure that you've got it completely surrounded so that no little shaker bits jump out. So I'm going to connect it here using this piece that I cut off. And then I'm going to just wedge. Maybe I'll get in a little closer so that you can see this here.
Ornamental trees?
Ornamental trees. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to wedge my scissors. So I'm putting my scissors right along this shaker strip here. Just going to slip my scissors there and trim this one down. And that makes it fit nice and tight in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the top. Just going to go right there. And then I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to rest my scissors in there and cut. And there. Now there's nowhere that any of those little sequins can jump out. Okay. And there we go. Looking pretty good. It's going to look good here with my pretty sparkly shaker. Now I have another tip for you tonight I want to show you. If you have a Copic marker, you can also do this with a water-based marker, but it's better if you have an alcohol marker. Try to find a color that's close. That might be a little too teal. I'm going to try one more color, but I'm not going to overthink this too much. Let's try this one. This might be a little better. I don't think it's going to matter all that much. I'm going to use this one because it looks a little bit lighter when you actually do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to color on the inside of this foam. So then when you see it from a side view, it doesn't look stark white. See that? Very easy to do, and it does make a huge difference. Aw, Owie. Thank you so much for watching. You can fill her in on all the details here, all the little tips and tricks we're doing tonight. That's so nice of you. Would you do that for me, Tom? You shared the comment.
Nice going, Owie.
Okay. And here we go. So you can see now we've got this whole inside tealed up a little bit with that dark teal. The color I'm using is Teal Blue. It's BG18. You see, so now when you look on the inside, see how it like camouflages all that white? I love that. Now, also do it on the outside, because when you look at this from the side, now you're not going to see. Just be a little careful that you don't go too close to the cardstock, like over wet it and get it into the cardstock because it could bleed through the front. But you see now when you have whatever cardstock you've got on there, it's going to look a lot cleaner. And I'm going to do these little parts too, even though there's a little step in there. I mean, if you really wanted to clean it up, you could cut another little square, but I think just by camouflaging the teal like this, it's going to be plenty good enough. Or the white like this with the teal marker. And going a shade darker with that teal marker, you can see it's pretty close to the actual color. Okay, and now we're going to go over here. Believe it or not, this card isn't going to take that much longer to do. I know I feel like I've been on for a long time and I don't have much to show for it, but I will in a minute. If you color on your acetate by mistake with a marker like this, it will color on your acetate, but you can take a Q-tip and a little bit of alcohol, just rubbing alcohol, and it'll come right off. I've done it. I've slipped. It happens. Okay. So there we go. I think we've got it looking pretty good. And now I don't see that as much. It's not as, obvious to me, that white foam. Okay, now we're going to try. Now, one thing you can do here is if you want, depending on what kind of shaker bits you're going to use, you can actually put some on the back too. So I'm thinking disco ball here is going to be a nice mix for this. If you want, you can put a couple in here. Oh, I clogged my glue. Give me a second. There we go. Had a little goober in there. Tiny little dots here. I don't want to get over gluey, but I'm just going to fill in a couple of these little places. Okay, I'm just going to put 5. I'll put 6. I'll put 7 because I don't like an odd number. Okay, so we're going to just put some sequins in there, and we can use different sizes. Where's my pick and stick tool? Here it is. We can use some different sizes. So I'm bad, and I just mushed all of my my micro disco ball with my regular disco ball sequins. They come in 2 sizes, and I just mixed them all together, which I probably shouldn't have done. I'm not going to use that. It's too big. Let me get another little thing of glue here. Maybe I can use that one now. I'll let that dry for a second though. And the reason why I'm gluing these on first is because when all the shaker stuff is down at the bottom, you don't really see anything. But this way, you'll still have a little bit of sparkle going on up here.
And the tree goes on the outside, right?
The tree is going to go on the outside. Yeah, I don't want the tree catching all of the little sequins, So I'm going to put the tree on the outside. I need a really tiny one for here. Ooh, my glue dried. It was such a tiny little glob there that it dried. All right, let's see if we can get this on here now. There we go. And then a tiny one there. Okay. So we're just going to give those a minute to dry, because if they're not completely dry and we throw shaker bits on here, but you see now we've got extra sparkle in there, like we don't have enough sparkle. But is there ever enough sparkle? And then this is going to go on top, and then our tree is going to go on top of that. And then we're going to do our greeting up here. And then we'll add a little ribbon and we'll be done. Now, I don't have silver ribbon, which is what I really need. I only have gold ribbon. So I have to look. I think what I'm going to have to do is use maybe a little green ribbon. Ugh, I don't like that. What do I have? Oh my goodness, look what I found. This was from one of our old Stamp TV kits. My mom wrapped this. My mom hand wrapped every bit of ribbon from our old kits, and she hand wrapped this one. Oh, and this is really pretty. This is a teal color that might look really pretty with this. I don't have, oh, I could use this white too. Maybe I'll use this white. We'll try that. It's very thick ribbon. I never was able to get it back as pretty as my mom would wrap it too. That's a good memory for me. It's a beautiful memory. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for that to completely dry, let's do our greeting. So we just need a tiny little greeting, and we'll cut it out with a sentiment strip. So let's do one of these. Let's do Merry Christmas, because it's a perfect Christmas card, right? And then I'm going to use one of our sentiment strips to cut it out. And I think I'm going to use, let's see if one of these will fit. I think I need a bigger one. These are our sentiment strips dies. I think this is going to fit. It won't have the little flags on the end, although Master Layouts 2 might have one that'll fit. Let's use that, because that'll be even cuter. And I have to use Master Layouts 2 for the background anyway, because I am turning this into a card. Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to cut out one of these. We're going to do Merry Christmas, though. So let me get my Misty stamping tool. For our new friends, a Misty stamping tool is absolutely the greatest way to stamp images. And everybody in the comments that's an experienced stamper that has one will tell you I'm not lying about this, because this allows you to stamp and restamp anything that didn't stamp well the first time. So I'm putting my piece of cardstock up in the corner there, and I've got a magnet to hold it steady. And then I'm going to use the Merry Christmas greeting from this vintage holiday stamp set. So I'm going to stamp it in black ink. And I'm actually going to stamp 2. And I'll tell you why. Because if I mess up die cutting it, I have another one. If I have to get everything out again, it's going to be frustrating for me and for you. So I'm going to use some black Onyx ink for this, because you know I always need a little bit of black on every card. And we're going to stamp that, and then we're going to stamp it again just to make it a little bit darker. Okay. And then just to stamp it one more time, I'm just going to flip it upside down. Let's see where that's going to go. That'll be okay. Hopefully I won't need it, but I can always cut it later if I do need it, or make a second one later. Okay. There we go. So we've got our 2 Merry Christmas greetings, and now we're going to do a little bit more die cutting. I am going to clean this stamp, though, quick with my Tidy Towel. My Tidy Towel is a great way to clean your stamps because you don't get any fuzzies on it. I remember when I first started stamping, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same way, you were told to use baby wipes. And baby wipes have so much lint on them. And then you'd get these little black stringy things on everything that we would stamp. Do you guys remember that? The good old days of stamping before we had all the good stuff? We were out there in the wild trying to make it. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit more die cutting here. Let me find my plate. The first thing I'm going to die cut is this extra plate with the foiled stars. I am going to use Master Layouts 2, which is the same die set that this little flag came in. We're going to have lots of pretty stitching on this, and I'm going to cut this out. It's always better to cut it, tilt it a little bit. It goes through the machine easier. And then we will put this platform right on top and cut. We have come a long way, baby. Alrighty. So we've got that piece cut out. And it's got that cute little stitching, but it's got all that sparkle and shine. Now let's cut our flag die. So cut this one, and I'm going to use the smaller of the two flags for this set. Get that lined up nicely. See, my tape is right here for me. Love that. Okay. Now we'll cut this out. Okay. And then we're going to cut one black panel. There's my word die, or my word. That's going to be so cute. Thanks for helping me choose what to do there, everybody. I appreciate your input. I saw you all say, do the sentiment strip. And now we need a piece of black cardstock, which I have a piece right here. And we're going to do that second die from Master Layouts 2. That's the plain rectangle. I know I'm a little off the screen here, and I apologize for that. Just turn it ever so slightly. It is still on the plate. And then we'll run that through. Oh, thank you. Guys are all so sweet. So I think we've got all of the things cut. I am going to use that darker tree because I think that's going to show up a little bit better. All I need is a card base, and I'm thinking, and I think you'll probably agree with me. I hope you do. I am thinking because we've got this right here, I think we need a little sea glass card base. So I have one that's already cut, and I think that'll be a really nice combination, and it'll pull that. That'll jump a little bit out. So this piece is cut 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I'm going to score it at the 5 1/2 inch mark. And this is just going to create my A2 card base. And I must have crunched it there because that little corner is mushed up. Is this corner mushed up? Ah, it's okay. Better than horrible. And now we're going to assemble all of this. I think this is dry enough now. So we're going to add some more shaker mix. So I've got some more disco ball here. The problem is I've got so much other junk in here. Do I have another disco ball sequin pack here that's not? Ooh, I do. Okay. That's my catch-all. So if there's any other embellishments, I just throw them, throw them all in that one. And that's not really good when you're making a shaker card. So I am going to cut the tape off the bottom of this. And I'm going to pour, this is like micro disco ball, I think. No, I think it's regular. I don't know. It's probably a mix. So I'm going to put quite a bit in here, because I want it to shake a lot, and I want you to be able to see it. And you can see I've got it all mostly in the center. So I've got the edges freed up because that's where my foam tape is going to go. Hopefully, if I can nail it properly, we'll see. I'll zoom in so you can see the tragedy if it doesn't work out. And now I'm going to pull these off and hope for the best. Now, I could do it. You know what I could do? Instead of being a dummy, why don't I do this? Why don't I pour it all in here and then get it off of the foam? See, that's another dummy move. Oh, my goodness. This will work. Just give me a second. I just figured that if I do it upside down like this, I'm going to be able to nail it better. And there's nothing that I have to get straight. Like if you had a tree in here or something that you stamped, you would probably have to flip it the other way. But because we don't have that, we're just, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Tom, can you help me pick these off?
Yikes.
Well, that's all right. This is real life here. This is the way it goes. You just got to take your time and pick them off. I'm making it worse because I'm sticking to the thing.
So a couple requests for a word of the day.
Oh, it's the perfect time because I got to take care of my tragedy.
Okay,
here.
and so this one has a little backstory.
Oh, God.
Gina and I have these bizarre conversations, and we were talking about some of the things that they make you drink for medical procedures.
Oh, my God. The
Right?
worst. The worst. I don't even
Barium
think this
and-
is going to be a problem, but I'm going to.
You're
Yeah.
gonna go right over it?
I
You're gonna
might.
just-
Yeah, why not?
See, that's that you can prove that works.
Yeah, that's what I think I'll do. I'll prove that it works. I also think I could put a little bit of glue on here just to be safe.
You can't be rough with it because it just shakes it.
I know, it just shakes more. I think I'm going to just put it on. Okay, so I'm going to put it on while Tom tells his horrific story.
we were chatting one of our strange conversations over coffee, and we came up with a name for the drink they make you drink for colonoscopy.
Oh no. I had no idea this is where it was going.
That was Gatoroid.
Gatoroid, yeah.
Gatoroid. Which reminds me of our stamp that we had that we sent out to all the colonoscopy clinics in the area. You remember that one?
No, do tell.
You're beautiful inside and out.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And then you had to drink that weird stuff for your
for my thyroid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was horrible for my thyroid.
We didn't do a name like that yet. What would that be?
That would
No,
be,
that would be, what was it?
instead of Gatoroid, that would be Goitorade.
Goitorade.
From my goiter. Hey, you know, it is what it is.
So that's strange as it may be.
The words of the day.
The words of the day.
Okay, so now I have taped this onto the black panel, and then this is going to go right onto my card base here. And you know what? I forgot. I'm not even really making a tag, so I don't need ribbon, but I might just show you something anyway, just for fun. Just for fun. And we could use it or we don't have to use it. But there we go. So now we've got all that beautiful sparkle and shine. And this is working really well. So I'm going to put some extra tape back here. It's not a problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem because this is all going to seal up anyway. Ooh. And I'm going to position that as centered as I can get it, because once it's down, it's down.
See, that stuff is like liquid nails. You can work right through.
Yeah, you can. You definitely can. So there's the shaker. And isn't it fun when you look at the side with that teal? You don't really see the white mess from the foam. Okay. And then we're going to glue this onto the acetate on the front, and we're going to pop this up here. Yeah, I don't even think we're going to really need the ribbon. I think it's going to be just perfect the way it is. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of glue on here. Now, I'm not going to put a ton of glue on this. I need to close my glue when I'm not using it. Just had to squeeze it into the trash can for a second. Okay, so I'm going to add little bits of glue here. I don't want it to be too gluey, but I need it to stay. So wish me luck dropping this down. I've never done one on the front of acetate before, but I really didn't want it on the inside because I don't know. I think the sequins would get all caught up on it and they wouldn't flow as nicely. And this, you know, this creates some contrast too on that acetate because the acetate's kind of glary, you know, and then you have this kind of nice matte piece of cardstock. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, now let that dry for just a second. I'm going to take this off because if it's not straight. Now I'm going to do it. Let's see. I don't want it down here, although that would be cute. Let's see. Let's look. I can put that like here. And then I could, should I attach it like to the bottom? Do you guys like that? Or do you like it more up? I'm going to wait to see what they say because I got to let the glue dry a little bit anyway. I feel like having it up a little bit is nice because it'll look like it's sitting in the snow under there. Yeah, up a little bit. Okay, I see people saying up. All right, so we're going to do it right here. Oh, I took my glasses off. Bad move. Put my glasses back on. Okay. See, I let that glue sit for a second, and now it's nice and tacky, so it just stuck right on there. It's not sliding around. There we go. Well, it might be over this way a little bit, but I don't know if I can move it just a little. I can move it a little. There we go. Okay. And now we will adhere this onto here. Oh, I really like this little card. I think it's so cute. We'll just tape that right on, right there. And I don't want to put it up over that because I want you to be able to see that full thing. There we go. If I had the right ribbon, I'll just show you what I would do. So I'm just going to use a little bit of twine here. And I have a video on this. So I have a video called 5 Ways to Make Ribbons. Ooh, I'm trying to go out a little bit. But I would probably wrap this ribbon, this twine. And I have a video showing you how to do this. But I would probably do what I just did with my fingers, right? To make a bow like that. Now, I know you didn't see what I did. Maybe I'll do it one more time a little bit slower and I'll tell you what I'm doing. But I think it would be cute if you had silver ribbon. This doesn't work with the green. I'm not doing it with the green, but you could use a glue dot or a foam square or something in there and add a little ribbon element. And let me show you what I just did, okay? And I'm going to show you, but if you don't get it the first time, I've got a video called 5 Ways to Make Bows on my channel. And there's 5 different ways, all kinds of cheaters bows. So I'm going to hold this piece of twine between my thumb and my pinky. And I'm going to wrap this around my 2 fingers like 3 times. This is really way too much. I don't need this much. Okay, so 3 times. Then I'm going to go through this hole, right? Through that hole. Let's get it through the hole there. Okay, right? Now we've got this. Now we're going to go, I like to say it this way, over the river and through the woods. And then you just tighten that up and that makes a little bow. I have a much better, much closer up, edited, beautiful video on how to do this kind of bow. And then you just cut your tails. And these are just fun for tags and ornaments and everything. But check out that video. I'll link it on the description on YouTube so you can find it easier. But I think this card is just fine without it because we used that shaker tag as the focal element. And I do like how cute that is. So I really don't want to kind of cover that up. But you can see you got all that extra sparkle and shine. You've got all those cute little sequins in there. You've got the ones that are stuck to the back. So when it's kind of down, you can still see something going on. And we have that little bit of background sparkling as well. So there is our little shaker tag made into a card. So I'll be sharing some high quality photos both on Facebook and here on YouTube in my on my community tab. I always show pictures. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, baby. Shake it. Love it. You can hear it. Can you hear it? Okay, so there's the card. What do you think, Tom?
It looks sensational.
It was so fun. All right, we're going to give it away. We're going to give it away to somebody here tonight that has made a comment. We always do that as often as we can. We give the cards away to people who leave comments here in the
Really?
live. And we're actually, just so you guys know, we are getting comments from 4 different locations. So there are people, if you're watching on YouTube, there's also like another 1,000 people watching on the other platforms, because we're in 2 different spots on Facebook where people are watching, and we're also on Twitch. So I don't know about 1,000, but maybe 800 more people or so. So we get to see all of your comments through our software. So I'm seeing YouTube, I'm seeing Facebook, I'm seeing Twitch, I'm seeing all of it. And so is Tom. So I just don't want anybody to think that they're not included because they're watching somewhere other than YouTube. All right, Tom. So do you have a winner for this card?
Okay, let's do a cheesy drum roll. Whoops. Hold on.
Tom's got to get his cheesy drum roll loaded into the system.
Cheesy drum roll, please, for the giveaway.
All right.
Here we go. Ba-ba. The winner is Kelly Anselmo.
Hey, Kelly, congratulations. Yay. Kelly, all you have to do is send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get this out to you. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this technique. I hope you'll give a shaker tag a try. If you wanted to just leave this as a tag, you could have slapped another tag right on the back. Just pop it right on the back to clean up the back, and then you could put a little string in between them, and it would work just like this one here. So, all right, everybody. Well, Tom and I will be back on Thursday with another Stampin' Chat Live. That's our crafternoon time. It's at 12 noon Central Time, but if you follow us on YouTube, it'll always show up in your time zone. So if whatever time zone you see it on YouTube, that's the time we're going to be on. And then, yeah, I'm hoping to get another 5-minute card video out this weekend. It's been a little tough with the holidays trying to get that extra video out, but hopefully you've been enjoying some of my YouTube shorts I've been sharing on the weekends. And also check out our Instagram, because I've been sharing lots of your projects that you've been sharing on Instagram on our account. If you want your projects shown or you want me to see it, make sure you tag me at Gina K Designs. Use hashtag Gina K Designs anywhere you are on the web so that I get to see it. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye-bye.